Rebecca, you're talking about the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty. There, people are saying TPNW replaces NPT. It's maybe NPT has failed even. Would you agree that TPNW actually strengthens the aims of NPT? It shows that the objectives are still relevant and that most people in the world want to strengthen those aims.
Absolutely. You know, I've actually attended every single NPT meeting since 1994. I'm one of the very few people in the world probably who has done that, and I've reported on all of them. It was an important treaty to achieve at the height of the Cold War, and we must never forget that. But it also has problems because it had there was a lot of control exerted by the US and by Russia in particular, that absolutely watered down. In fact, they didn't even initially want to have any commitment to nuclear disarmament in there. They wanted it just to deal with non-proliferation. So they watered down the Article 6 on nuclear disarmament until it really was sort of to negotiate in good faith. And nevertheless, that is a legal obligation on Britain and all of the nuclear armed states, all of the nuclear weapon states as defined, as described in the treaty. So what the TPNW does, and remember, it was really launched at the 2010 review conference of the NPT. We had a strategy to get 2 key paragraphs into the 2010 final document dealing with the use of nuclear weapons and the humanitarian, international humanitarian law, and also that conclusion of the ICJ that there exists an obligation to negotiate and bring to conclusion nuclear disarmament. And we used particularly the phrase that had been used by Secretary General Ban Ki-moon about a nuclear weapon convention or interconnected he didn't say it had to be just one treaty. He talked about it being possible as a framework of treaties. So it's really been built out of that, and all of the states that actually negotiated it are NPT members. And the treaty is very explicit. It's there to build on, to strengthen, and to implement the nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation obligations of the NPT. And I'm particularly saying that because we're not obliged to implement Article 4 on nuclear energy, because that isn't a core obligation of the NPT. It was the incentive mechanism within the NPT to persuade countries that they wouldn't lose access to nuclear technologies. They wouldn't be stopped from getting nuclear technologies if they joined the treaty promising not to acquire nuclear weapons. And we need to understand that. So the TPNW has a lot of the practicalities in it. Like, the NPT never dealt with the use of nuclear weapons at all. It doesn't prohibit the use. That's key to the TPNW. Plus all those activities, production, testing, deployment, assisting others to do these activities that could enable anyone, not just states. The TPNW actually applies to non-state actors, to civil society and non-state actors of a non-civil kind, which is very, very important as well, because the NPT only applies to states officially. And so the TPNW gives us a stronger, better toolbox, if you like, for what we can do to get implementation of the TPNW, which would in fact become and mean full implementation of the NPT.